Welcome back. Continuing with the topic of television and change, Roger Ailes no longer runs Fox News, but the scandal that prompted his ouster shows no signs of going away anytime soon. John Bachman has more.
JD, the list of women publicly accusing Roger Ailes of sexual harassment continues to grow. This time it's Andrea Tantaros, who joins Megyn Kelly and Gretchen Carlson as high-profile talent that have now accused the former Fox News CEO of this inappropriate behavior. But there are also other women, dozens, who work behind the camera now coming out accusing Ailes of this type of behavior. The question a lot of people are asking, was Fox News' top brass involved in a cover-up of this systemic sexual harassment at the cable news giant?
It is going to be pretty shocking.
Fox News on-air personality Andrea Tantaros. She complained loudly more than once, she says, about sexual harassment from then CEO Roger Ailes, well before Gretchen Carlson. New York Magazine's Gabriel Sherman says Tantaros reported the inappropriate behavior back in 2015. One incident allegedly included the founder of Fox News asking Tantaros to twirl and give Roger Ailes a hug. After she declined repeated advances, Tantaros' lawyer says she faced significant retaliation rather than help from Fox News executives.
Women, we were promised so much with the rise of feminism, and we have gotten a lot, believe me, more than we can deal with.
The key development that Tantaros filed her complaints well before Gretchen Carlson filed her lawsuit begs the question, how much did Fox's top brass know? Carlson, who says Ailes requested she have sex with him to improve her job position, is expected to soon reach an 8-figure settlement with News Corporation's parent company, 21st Century Fox. Vanity Fair reports that Carlson and other women have tape recordings of their encounters with Ailes.
I just want to thank you so much for all the support you've given me over the last few days.
Also based on Sherman's reporting in New York Magazine, new questions now surfacing about a possible payout of more than $3 million to quiet a former show booker at the Fair and Balanced Network. Her name is Lori Lunn. She claims almost 20 years of psychological torture by Ailes, who she said required her to have steamy sex sessions in a New York hotel room, including sadomasochistic sex with other women while he photographed. The respected Financial Times said the $3 million in hush money to Lunn was never reported to Fox's parent company, 21st Century Fox. And other sources are now revealing details about Ailes' personal black room, in which a handful of trusted contractors and private detectives worked to spy on Fox's own reporters, other networks, and Ailes' political rivals. JD, as you know, Roger Ailes was forced to resign last month, though he still strongly denies all of the accusations that have been levied against him. Back to you.
Thanks, John. And a reminder in order, we will be taking your calls in this segment and our other segments tonight at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Let's continue with our panel. Again, Skyping in from Charlotte, the senior contributor for the Federalist, D.C. McAllister, and via Skype from Fort Lauderdale, president of the Tripp Scott law firm, Ed Pozzuoli. And we should note that our parent website, Newsmax.com, now reports that Fox News is tonight threatening to fire new Ailes accuser Andrea Tantaros. DC, what do you make of all of this?
There needs to be a thorough investigation done, and I think there already is one internal investigation going on at Fox. And if this is true, he needs to be held to account. But obviously, if it's true, I think that definitely there were some enablers, and it just makes sense. So that needs to be weeded out. And if anyone covered up for him, enabled him in any way, that needs to be exposed, because women do not deserve to be treated this way. I'm not going to say he's guilty, and he's innocent until proven guilty, but there's a lot of evidence as far as eyewitnesses and these women making testimony. So it needs to be discovered. Now, will this mean the end of Fox News, like people are saying? I don't think so. I think they can recover, and they will recover. But the truth needs to come out, and this kind of behavior needs to stop clearly.
Ed, you're our lawyer. Give us some legal advice on this.
Well, I think they need to do a full investigation and get all the facts on the table, and we'll see how serious it goes. But JD, the bigger issue here is, how does it impact some of their on-air personalities? There's a couple clauses inside a couple of those contracts that if Roger Ailes is not there, the personality has an out of the contract. So you have that, plus you have, I've heard suggested retirements of some people, and also contracts like Megyn Kelly's running out in less than a year. So that's going to cause a little bit of stir as much as this, and the two things may merge.
Well, we are going to once again call on those who have called in at 1-877-NEWSMAX to Navarre, Florida, where Rich is on the line. Rich, welcome to Newsmax Prime.
Yeah, nice to speak with you, JD. In politics, everything's about timing, and isn't it interesting that they're trying to force Roger out just as the home stretch of the presidential campaign is beginning? I don't think that's an accident. They're trying to take Fox in a left-wing direction so that they can get all all pro-establishment hands on deck to try to defeat the Trump train here. This is all nothing but made up to force Ailes out and turn Fox in a left-wing direction.
D.C., there has been writing from a variety of sources concentrating on Rupert Murdoch's sons, suggesting that they might take Fox News in the direction of Sky News, which would be more event-oriented, less politically oriented. Do you think there's anything to that speculation we've seen?
I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theories like this. I think sometimes the simplest explanation is actually the one that's true. Will there be threats as far as Fox going in a different direction? Of course. But the idea that these women are all working in consort in order to affect the presidential election, I can't see that happening, and I don't believe that right now. Now, that doesn't mean I think he's guilty, but I also don't think there's that kind of conspiracy going on. I just don't see the evidence for it.
Well, when this story first broke, Bret Baier, the anchor of Special Report on Fox News, visited over at CBS, appearing on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and Bret Baier had this to say.
These headlines are foreign to me. The Roger I know is somebody who's been amazing to me, amazing to a lot of people at Fox who've come out publicly and privately supporting him. He's been fantastic to my family. He's one of the first people who called when my son had open heart surgery. Not once, but 3 times. That's the Roger I know.
Ed Pozzuoli, your take after hearing that from Bret Baier.
Well, I've heard that from several anchors and several other Fox people. And that's why I would say, let's get all the facts on the table, and then we could, figure out what happened here. I don't want to, I don't want to have Roger Ailes be subject to false allegations if they turn out to be false, but they're serious enough, they're very serious enough to have us investigate, and no employer has the right to do that to their employees if any of this is true. And I think we've got to balance this out, but the truth needs to be, opened up in the sunshine, and let it come out.
We open the phone lines again for the comments of those looking in across the country to the crucial Keystone State, Pennsylvania. Sharon is phoning in from Bushkill, PA. Sharon, you're with us now on Newsmax Prime.
Hi, good evening, JD.
Evening. Go right ahead.
Two things to say real quick.
Okay.
One, I think our Trump supporters do not believe the poll numbers. They're true supporters. They don't buy all the crazy poll numbers. And second, I find Donald Trump to be a very smart businessman, and he knows you don't show all your cards at one time. And this election is not just an election, it's the survival of this country. I hope everyone goes out and votes.
All right. Appreciate that, Sharon. To that notion, D.C., that the polls, Pat Caddell, the former Carter pollster, was really fired up, saying that Reuters Ipsos changed their method to actually weight it in favor of the Democrats. But there is one other poll I need to show and get your comment on. The Monmouth poll, released Monday, showed that Mrs. Clinton is well ahead of Mr. Trump when it comes to white women with a college degree. 57% to 27%. That's not just a gender gap, that's a gender Grand Canyon. Your reaction?
Well, I definitely think when you take the polls all in concert, that's when you get the real picture. And, it's still very close. And this is one evidence. It can be close in these certain areas as far as the whole of the polling. And we need to take that into consideration, not just look at one. I think that's really important.
Closing argument to Ed Pozzuoli. 20 seconds, Ed, go.
Hey, look, we've got a long time to November. The polls are just momentum pieces. Each of those are going to be important, particularly state polls. State polls are what matter. National polls don't, JD.
Got to take it state by state because you have to get the requisite number of electoral votes in the Electoral College. Thanks for schooling us tonight, DC and Ed. We appreciate the time. And we move now to math, or at least some numbers. If you watch us on Direct TV, our primetime programming moves to channel 366 at the end of this week. In fact, this program and our other primetime programming is already on JLTV, Direct Channel 366. Go there right now. That's Direct Channel 366. Coming back with more after this.